Hey everyone, it's your girl Biola here from Yoga by Biola. I'm super stoked to be filming this video for you. The much requested Sacral Chakra video. I know it's been a hot minute. I'm so sorry about the wait, but I'm happy to be presenting it to you here. Tucker. I'm happy to be presenting it to you here. I'm actually in Portland, Washington. Normally my hometown is in Seattle, but I'm in Portland, Washington right now. I'm actually house and dog sitting for my friend. This is Tucker, and I'm super excited to be here and filming in this beautiful location. The sun is out, the summer's here. I had some requests for outdoor yoga, sunset yoga. This is as close to as I can get to a sunset right now, but I will be doing a sunset yoga sequence for the next one. But I'm super thrilled to be filming this for y'all. I apologize for the delay, but I'm super stoked to be here. So the sacral chakra, that's chakra number 2. The first one that we did was the root chakra. Now chakra number 2 is located right underneath your belly button. So it's probably located about, maybe if you take your three fingers and just put them underneath your belly button, that is where your sacral chakra, chakra number 2, is located. It's the chakra for so many things. Specifically pleasure, creativity, emotional, getting in touch with your emotional body, your soul body, usually happens within the sacral chakra. Some of the things that you can notice if you're noticing an imbalance, it's usually you're emotionally withdrawn or you're emotionally overcharged. So you might be overly emotional or you're emotionally withdrawn. There's an imbalance with your emotions. Same thing with your pleasure center. Obviously that's kind of your sacral chakra is like a lot of has to do with your sexual organs and your sexual orientation and how you're feeling and receiving or resisting pleasure. So noticing how you are with pleasure, noticing if you're receiving it, if you're resisting it, if sexual arousal is quite difficult for you, or if you're overly sexually aroused, going into the porn and whatnot, and if you're under sexually aroused, where you're not allowing yourself to be touched or touching yourself at all. Those are some signs that there's maybe a little bit of an imbalance in your sacral chakra. Also, creativity is stored here. So your sacral chakra stores so much creativity. There's a post that I did a while back when I was abstinent. When I was abstinent, I wasn't engaging in any type of sexual activity, where I did harnessing basically your sacral chakra energy, your sexual energy, and cultivating that into creative energy. There's a post on that. You can hit Yoga by Biola to go check it out. I'll also post a link below. It's really interesting. But it hosts so much creativity, is hosting your sacral chakra, which is really important for me. And so when I find that my creativity is waning and I'm having trouble tapping into it, and I'm a really creative being, and so to not be able to have that can put me in sort of a tailspin. So this is a sequence that I like to go to when I'm finding that I need more creative juices. Also, this sequence, because the sacral chakra holds so much creative power, this sequence is really creative. It's kind of playful. A lot of the movements are kind of out of the norm. They're kind of watery elements. That's another thing. The sacral chakra represents water, although the color is kind of like a transparent orange. It's the chakra for flow and just fluidity, and you can kind of relate it back to the divine feminine as well. One of the things we're going to be actually using is a very specific mudra, which is, mudra basically is a type of kind of I guess you could say kind of like a prayer, a physical prayer that you're doing and an intention that you're putting beyond your practice with the mudra. The mudra we're going to be doing is the yoni mudra, which is basically bringing your thumbs together and your index fingers together along with your other fingers to create kind of like a little bit of a, I guess you could say like a diamond shape, or yeah, like a diamond shape, I don't know what to call it. But you're basically creating a little symbol of your yoni, and we're going to be utilizing that, placing it right on our sacral chakra. So the one thing you want to keep in mind when you're doing any type of chakra healing is intention. So really being intentional about what you're trying to undo in your practice. If you're not being intentional or mindful about what you're trying to undo or what you're trying to find balance in, really holding that holding that intention in your mind as you're adding these physical movements, it's really not manifesting or doing anything for you. You really have to be intentional. Hold what you're trying to change. If it's just one thing and you're not really aware or clear of it, but there's something specific that you're wanting to see happen, hold that intention in your mind while you're practicing. And just create more intention in your movements, in your practice. And that's literally how that manifestation, that healing starts to happen. It happens from your intention, because your intention is actually your approach or way of saying to creation and divine source that I'm ready to be involved in this practice of recreating or rebalancing my life or healing my body. It's your way of saying, hey, I understand that I'm a divine being and I have say in this as an authority of my own body, and allowing yourself to be involved in this process of healing that's taking place, as opposed to waiting for something to happen or waiting for someone else to make something happen for you. So use that intention. We'll need two things, basically, and they're not even necessary. You don't have to practice on I almost said fucking. You don't have to practice on a yoga mat if you don't have one. Practice on whatever you have available. It's not necessary. But if you do have a yoga mat, you want to grab a yoga mat. We're going to be on our knees a little bit, so I always like to have a blanket because my knees are sensitive. I suggest you have one as well if your knees are sensitive as well. That's basically all I will be needing today, and we'll go ahead and get started. I'm super pumped. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll see you back on your mat here in a second. Welcome back, everyone. So we're going to start sitting down. Not necessarily in a Sukhasana position, but creating a diamond shape with your legs, drawing the bottoms of your feet together to kiss. And we're going to start here. Now, if this is troublesome for you, that's completely okay. You can come in almost like a little bit of a more relaxed Sukhasana with one leg slightly in front of the other. You can start here as well. If you're having trouble getting into that full diamond shape because your hips are a little bit tight and so your knees are up here instead, that's completely fine. If that's really uncomfortable, you can take that other option that I just offered to you. But we won't be here long, so if the hips are kind of resisting, I want you to try to sit into the posture a little bit more. Try to relax into it. Your hips are just necessarily telling you that you're a little bit tight, and that's why the knees are so high. And just allow yourself to find a little bit more relaxation in this pose here. So we're going to take our hands and just draw them onto the feet. Your thumbs are going to come to the insides of your feet, and then the forefingers are going to come on the outside. Now I want you to draw your attention to your sacral chakra, your lower belly button, and I want you to draw the navel in towards the spine. And as you do, I want you to try to get nice and tall here, relaxing the shoulders down, imagining that there's a string attached to the top of your head, lifting and igniting your head up towards the heavens here. So we're getting nice and tall, finding expansion throughout the heart, and a little bit of contraction, a little bit of engagement in the lower belly or in your sacral chakra. We'll start with some breathing here, allowing ourselves to arrive on our mat. Maybe drawing in the intention that we're trying to have here. So focusing on what you're trying to balance, right? Is it more creativity? Is it less creativity? Is it more receptive of pleasure? Is it less receptive of pleasure? Is it more sensuality, more flow in your life? More of that watery essence or less? So really holding that intention in your mind as you rest here. I'm going to start with the breath of fire, or Kapalabhati, and it is a really strong exhalation out of the nose. The inhalation happens passively, so I'm going to shoot breath or shoot air out of my nostrils. My lips are going to remain closed, so my lips are going to be closed together, and my belly is going to expand and contract as a result of the breath that I'm shooting out of my nose. Tucker wants to join us. He wants to be in the shade. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually start to involve the Kapalabhati with our knees here to kind of start to warm up that sacral chakra. Exhale. Now that's more of a little bit of a kundalini practice that we're just entering in so we can get more into that kind of breath, that deep pranayamic breath practice. You can do another set of those. I would suggest probably 20 rounds of Kapalabhati and 20 lifts and exhalations, or 20 lifts and rises of the knees. You can do another round, but for now, for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and start to get started into the sequence. So inhaling here. And exhale. Slowly draw your hands together. Create that yoni mudra. Place it to your low belly. Guide your mind to that intention, the balance that you're wanting to see here. Slightly push your hands into your sacral chakra. Draw the navel in here. Lift the spine nice and long. And exhale. Cross the legs here. You're going to roll over the knees. Come into a tabletop position here. Now once again, if your knees are sensitive, you can go ahead and place your knees on that blanket. In tabletop position, 2 fists worth of space in between the knees. 5 fingers rooted into the earth here. And we're going to start to find a little bit of watery movement here. Finding that sensuality, that flow, the essence of the sacral chakra. So you could call these cat-cows, I guess, but they're not necessarily traditional cat-cows. So just being really fluid here, moving the arms and the legs, and specifically the hips, the center of the sacral chakra around. Extending the arms. Just getting watery here. Continuing to inhale. And exhale. One more round of breath here. Come back to tabletop here. You're going to lift your left leg actually and just cross your right leg or your right knee behind that leg here. And then you're going to root your hands into the earth and slowly come onto the knees. Inhaling here. And exhale. Release that right knee, take it to the opposite side. Glide your left knee behind the right. And inhale here, pluck the heels up, push the hands into the earth. Inhale. And exhale. And slowly release the shins back into the earth. Root both knees alongside one another, draw the hands in. Now you're going to walk the hands in, tucking your toes. You're going to pluck your knees up. The heels are going to come together to kiss. So it's going to look like this. Your heels are going to draw together and your knees are going to come out to the left and the right. You want the arms long here, almost like you would in down dog. Extending the arms. Maybe moving the hips here. Drawing the heels to touch as much as you can. And then we're going to slowly come to stand. And then exhale, come back down. Into that same kind of frog pose. Draw yourself back up, Tadasana. Or excuse me, not Tadasana, Uttanasana. Exhale, draw it back down into that seated frog. And Uttanasana, forward fold. 3 more of those. Exhale, draw it down. Frog pose. And inhale, Uttanasana. 2 more. Exhale. That modified or standing frog. And exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale here, exhale. Squatting frog. And final one, inhale, Uttanasana. And exhale, squatting frog. Holding here, drawing the knees back behind you to open up the hips more, and then exhale, root the knees into the earth, find your tabletop. Inhale here for your cow, and exhale for your cat. Inhale, draws it back neutral, and exhale, you settle in. Coming back to a tabletop position. On the inhale, we're going to extend the left leg back. Toes shine down. Hip bone shines down only for a second. Then I want you to open up that hip flexor, and specifically open up and expose the sacral chakra. And then exhale, glide that knee towards the shoulder. And then inhale, drop back. Exhale, drop onto your right forearm. And then take a nice bend with that left elbow and draw that knee back. Extend it straight back here. Inhale, root that right hand back into the earth and glide that left leg out. Glide the hands up here. Exhale, hands come to the hips. You're going to take a nice bend in that left knee so you're almost in a Captain Morgan stance. And then slowly taking your yoni mudra here and drawing it right to your sacral chakra. And glide that knee forward. And then exhale, glide it straight back. Getting into the inner thighs here. Glide that knee forward towards me. And then glide it back. One more inhale, draw it forward. Exhale, glide it back. Slowly root the hands back into the earth and glide that knee back, opposite side. Inhale, right heel comes high. And exhale, glide it towards your right shoulder. Inhale, draw it straight back. Exhale, prop down onto that left forearm. Find a bend in your right elbow and glide that knee in towards the shoulder. Inhale, glide it back. Exhale, come onto that left hand and glide that right leg out. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, find that yoni mudra. Find the Captain Morgan stance in your right leg. Toes shining straight out. Inhaling here glides you forward. Bending into that right knee. Inhale, draws it back. Exhale, glide it forward. Inhale, glides it back. One more exhale, glides it forward. Inhale, glides it back. Slowly root the hands back into the earth. Glide that knee straight back. And slowly tuck the toes here. Come back into your squatted frog. Heels pressed together. Maybe this time draw the knees in so they make contact with the back of your forearms. And possibly glide yourself forward onto the toes and back. Once more. Just shifting the weight forward and attuning that sacral chakra. And then exhale, coming back onto the knees. Tucking the toes here and gliding the hips back and up, finding your down dog. Try to keep the back of the heart expanded here, almost like your armpits are wrapping in to kiss your cheeks. Pedal out the knees one by one here, open up the back body. Start to take some swirls through the hips here. Nice kind of watery movement, sensual fluid. Inhale, reverberate forward, high plank. Exhale, low belly drags you back, downward facing dog. Inhale, take a big bend in the knees and take it over to a nice supported Vashisthasana. Bend in the knees, exhale, lower, take it to the opposite side. Find that bend in the knees. Nice and fluid, flexible movements, and then exhale, down dog. Inhale, glide that right heel up high. Exhale, step it through. Low lunge. The left knee kisses the earth. Inhale, hands come high. Exhale, find that yoni mudra here. Inhale, glide the hips forward. Exhale, draw them back, half split, lengthen out the leg. Inhale, yoni mudra. Find that lunge. Exhale, glide it back, half split. Once more. Inhale, yoni mudra. Hold that intention. Exhale, half split. Hold here for 2 rounds of breath. Notice that my left hip is comfortably stacked over my left knee. So avoid being here. Titties is popping out, y'all. Avoid being here. You're putting all the pressure in your quads. We want to open up that hamstring. Try to get the toes to shine up towards the heavens here to open up a little bit in the calf as well. Find expansion in your heart, so opening up, not collapsing here, and a little bit of contraction, navel drawing in, so activating that sacral chakra. You're going to go ahead and bend that right knee. Tuck the left toes here. Root the left hand into the earth. Pluck that left knee up. We're just in a low lunge now, supported low lunge. Inhale, right hand comes high. On the exhale, lengthen out that right leg. Inhale, find a bend in that knee. Draw that right hand forward simultaneously. Exhale, windmill that right hand back. Lengthen out that right leg once more. Inhale, bend that knee. Right hand comes forward. Exhale, windmill it straight back. Hold here. Root the right hand on the outside of the right foot. Keep that lengthened out right leg. Step your left leg forward. Pyramid pose. Both heels are on the earth, so no raised heels. They're rooted here. You could say your right toes are at noon and your left toes are at 11 o'clock or 10. Both hip bones are in alignment. Feel that light impingement of your sacral chakra here. And just grab opposite elbows. And inhale, come to stand. And step the left leg forward. Hands come together in prayer. On top of the head and behind the head, collapsing or drawing the hands together. Intertwining them. Elbows draw out. Navel draws up and in. Heart opens up here. And then hands come to that yoni mudra again. Bending your left knee, drawing your right knee back, or right hip bone back, and then take it to the opposite side. Getting into that outer hip, but still holding intention in the sacral chakra. Once more, both sides. Inhale here, neutral, and exhale, Uttanasana. Forward fold here. Step back, find your high plank. Now in high plank, avoid having the hips here. Try to keep a nice, long, flat back. Navel drawing up and in, and exhale, lowering, hugging the forearms in. Untuck the toes here. Root the shoelaces of the feet into the earth. Draw the inner thighs towards one another, hands on outsides of chest. Inhale, cobra. Lift and ignite the heart, little to no weight in the hands to start. And exhale, chin kisses the mat. And tuck toes. Find a child's pose or a puppy dog. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward facing dog, opposite side. Inhale, left heel comes high. Exhale, step it through, low lunge. Inhale, ignite the hands high. And exhale, draw them to that mudra, yoni mudra. Inhaling here, gliding the left knee forward, hips come forward. Exhale, lengthen it out, half split. Inhale, yoni mudra. Exhale, lengthen it out, half split. Inhale, yoni mudra. And exhale, lengthen it out, half split. Hold here. Finding some touch here. specifically the part of the body you're engaging the most, using your touch to encourage opening here in your body, encouraging expansion. And then bending the left knee, tucking the right toes here. Right hand roots on the inside of the left foot, and that right knee rises here. Inhale, left hand comes high. Wrap it straight back, lengthen out the left leg simultaneously. Inhale, drop forward. Exhale, windmill that left hand back, lengthen out the left leg once more. Inhale, bending that knee. Windmill it straight back. Hold here. Left hand's going to root on the outside of your left foot. You're going to keep this left leg lengthened out. Step your right foot maybe 2 or 3 inches forward. Both heels stay rooted. Left toes are at noon and right toes are at 1 or 2. Both hip bones are in alignment. So avoid jutting out with that left booty. Draw that right front hip forward. Inhale here, create your yoni mudra. And then grab opposite elbows. Maybe taking a micro bend in that left knee if you're finding you need more balance. And then inhale, rise. Step that right leg forward. Find your yoni mudra here. And take a big bend in that right knee. Left knee or left hip draws back. Opening up that whole outer left hip. I T-band a little bit and TFL. Or actually, that's the TK. I'm not sure actually. Just the IT band. Take it back. Once more, both sides. Right knee comes forward, left hip comes back. Opposite side. And neutral. Exhale, forward fold. Step back, find your high plank. Inhale, shift high on the balls of the toes and lower onto your belly. Untuck the toes here, inhale, cobra. Exhale, child's pose. And inhale, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Right heel comes high. Exhale, step it through. Drop your left heel. Open up, warrior 2. Lengthen out that right leg. Pivot your right toes in. Hands come high. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Sit into a goddess squat. Pivot the toes out a little bit. Notice if your knees are coming in here and your feet are wide. It means your inner thighs are a little bit tight. So you want to walk your heels in more so that your knees are directly underneath your heels. Now try to sit down into this kind of goddess squat. Tailbone draws down, pelvis draws forward, navel drawing in, expansion and opening in the heart. Just find some fluid movement in the hips here. Find that yoni mudra. And then slowly circle sweep hands up and over. Exhale, lengthen out the legs. Inhale here. Exhale, circle sweep, sit in your goddess squat. Once more. Exhale, circle sweep. Inhale and exhale, circle sweep. Now sitting back in your goddess squat here. Opening up wide, expansion through the heart and through the solar plexus. Sacral Chakra as well. Moving left and right. Fluidity. Going to take this into a little bit of a skandasana. Hands come to heart center. Skandasana to the back. Skandasana to the front. And coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, pivot your right toes to the front of the room. Draw that right hand forward. Open up. Back to your warrior two. Windmill the arms down to frame your right foot. Step your right foot back. Lower onto your belly. And inhale, cobra. And exhale. Tuck toes tabletop. And find your downward facing dog. Opposite side. Inhale, left heel comes high. Exhale, step it through. Warrior two, open up. My tailbone's drawn down. I'm sitting deep. My left toes are shining forward. And then my right footer is at like a razor blade edge. Inhale and here, lengthen out that left leg, pivot the left toes and hands come high. And exhale, find your yoni mudra here. Find a squat. Take it side to side. Start to open up through the hands here. Going to find a skandasana. Hands come to heart center, sitting low into the hips. Maybe releasing the hands. Skandasana, opposite side. Slowly taking it back, warrior two. And windmilling the arms down to frame the left foot. Step the left leg back, high plank. Lower onto the belly. Untuck the toes, inhale, cobra. And exhale low. Rise up, tabletop, and then exhale, child's pose. Or puppy dog pose here. And tucking the toes again, walking the hands in, plucking the heels up, or rather, the knees. The heels are going to come together to kiss, so we're starting back in that squatted frog, extending the arms. Slowly raise your hips, bend your forearms, and draw yourself forward till your knees make contact with maybe your armpits or just maybe the back of your elbows. Lift one toe, maybe lift both. Woo! Finding a crow pose. Slowly lower. Drop the knees. And rest in Virasana. Thunderbolt. Draw the hands back to the yoni mudra. And draw that intention back to that area. Inhale, back to tabletop. Draw your right shin forward and draw it out maybe a quarter for your pigeon pose. Tuck your left toes, tuck and drag, so they're straight behind you. I'm sweating out here, guys. And before you drop down, I want you to allow the hips to acclimate. Allow the hips to lower on their own before you drop down onto the forearms. Getting right into that sacral chakra. Coming into a little bit of a twist. Your left forearm is going to come parallel to the top of your mat. And you're going to look over your right shoulder. And slowly just opening up here. Whew. Hip just popped. And draw that right knee in here. Lifting nice and tall. Finding your yoni mudra. gliding over towards the left. Maybe grabbing your left peace finger. Hand can come to the low back or to the knee if you'd like. Take a deep inhale here, exhale, fold. Now your right hand can also glide in to grab that foot or the shin. You can progress into it. So you can start here, lifting and opening up through the heart. Start to fold forward. And slowly rise out of it. Come back into your tabletop. And draw that left shin forward. Draw it out about a quarter. Tuck and drag the right toes. Ooh, y'all, I'm sweating out here. Ooh, child. Lower the hips. Allow them to progressively lower organically. Try not to force them. Right forearm comes parallel to your mat and look over your left shoulder. This is how you know I'm working, y'all. I'm sweating with you. It's also just hot outside. And take it over onto the hips. You can't see me, so I'm going to turn around. But same thing, opposite side, taking that left foot to the inside. Rising nice and high here, Yoni Mudra. Come back to your intention. Right hand can come to the big toe here if you'd like as you start to lean. Hand can come to the low back. Slowly draw it in when you're ready to progress. Remember, hands can come to the shins. And coming out of it here, just drawing that knee in a Sukhasana, cross-legged position. And draw your hands back into your Yoni Mudra. Find your Yoni Mudra here with your sacral chakra. Coming back to that place of intention. Here you can stay here in a seated Sukhasana, or you can come to lie down in Shavasana. Final resting posture. Hug the knees in. Neutralize the spine for a breath. Thank the body. And come into a Supta Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet coming together, just how we started, but lying down in a supine position. Knees winging out to the left and right. Find your Yoni Mudra and draw it right onto your sacral chakra. Give it a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a massage here. Just acknowledging it with movement, acknowledging it with intention. And rest. Come to your final resting posture. Rolling over to your left into a fetal position. And slowly rising to a seated position of your choice. I prefer Virasana. You can sit cross-legged if you prefer. I invite you to close your practice with whatever hand mudra feels intuitive. You can always close with your yoni mudra. Take a deep inhale in through the nose. Exhale, HA. We'll each repeat one time. I've done my best. I leave the rest. Namaste. Thank you all for practicing with me today. Please hit the subscribe button so you can be up to date on new chakra videos coming your way. The next one will be the solar plexus chakra, which we're kind of building into. We did one pose that focused also on the sacral and the solar plexus chakra, which was our Bakasana crow, and we'll progress further into that in our next solar plexus chakra sequence. I'm super excited to share that one with you. In the meantime, stay tuned. Follow us on Yoga by Biola on Instagram, and don't forget to follow us, Trap Vinyasa. If you're not familiar, I'm also the founder of Trap Vinyasa, based here in the Seattle, Washington area. If you're interested in any of our Trap Vinyasa classes or want to bring Trap Vinyasa to your city, go ahead and visit www.trapvinyasa.com. In the meantime, hit subscribe so you don't miss a video from me. That's it, I think. Yeah, that's it. You guys have a beautiful day. Drink lots of water. Be good to yourselves, and thank you so much. Leave any comments that you have below. Let me know how this sequence made you feel. Let me know what intention you had in your mind. Let me know if you're continuing to progress in your sacral chakra healing. I want to hear it. And yeah, be good to yourselves, y'all. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.